Hello guys, and welcome back to your mat. Firstly, I just want to thank you for creating the time for you to move your body, reset, and of course join me. Today's class is going to be just a little different. I have been weaving in functional movement here and there into our yoga classes, and I believe it's very important. So today we're going to journey a little bit more into the functional movement side of things. Of course, there is always yoga in there as well, but we're going to be working on internal versus external rotation through the hips. Now this is a bit of an iffy one for everyone because internal versus external rotation is always different in everybody. Please take this slow. Zero expectations and absolutely no judgments. So before we begin, I'd just like you guys to take a comfortable seat, eyes closed down, kneeling, cross-legged. You can sit on a block, a pillow, whatever suits you best. Close down through the eyes, soften the shoulders. And just before we begin this class, I'd love to offer you again that no expectations, no judgments. As we move through our yoga practice, it's our intention to offer our body what we believe it needs. And that's why it's so important that we don't place these expectations on our body, because it will respond to that. And begin to open your mind to this practice as you sit in stillness and prepare for movement. Allow everything you've been carrying with you today to be placed down to the side of your mat. And if you really need it, you can pick it up later. Just taking one more big breath in here. A long and slow exhale. And start to blink open through the eyes. Place the hands behind you. Take the weight of your upper body into your hands and step your legs out nice and wide. So before we begin movement, we're going to just slowly move the knees from one side to the other. Find this internal, external rotation. Now here again, I just want you guys to be super mindful how it feels. Internal versus external rotation. What we're doing here is the head of our femur bone, the head of our thigh bone, is moving inside the acetabulum, inside the hip socket. So this is a really important movement to make, but not one that we do often. So let's go one more time from side to side. And then bring both legs together, stand up on your mat. But today we're going to take a nice wide stance. This is where we're going to begin everything that we're doing. Before we go anywhere, I'd love for you guys to make sure that the outer edges of the feet are even, so the toes and the heels are in line on both feet. And then from there, hands to the sky, breathe in, lift up, and forward fold into the shape as you exhale. Now because we're here early, you can place your hands onto the ground to give you a little bit of support, but if you can, I'd love for you to offer the weight of your torso into this posture. No need to force and jam your body into positions it doesn't want to be in. Just allow the upper body to fall as a weight. And begin to feel the inner hips, maybe the hamstrings, liven up just a little. Allow all of the thoughts to drain through the crown of your head. We'll take one last breath out. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in. Fold over as you breathe out. One more time. Take that halfway lift as you inhale. Skandasana over the right foot. Aim to get the heel in a little and then drop the hips down to the ground. So first we're going to pivot on the ball of our foot, turning the heel in. Grow tall through the chest and land in your Skandasana. Now today we're going to be working through low Skandasanas. If you need to place your hands on the floor at any time, I really encourage that you do so. But just land here for one more big breath in. And as you exhale, Slow and steady, drop your sitting bones down to the ground. That can be a really tough movement. So for you guys there, you are more than welcome to bring your hands to the ground in front of you, or maybe your left hand behind you. Drop your hips to the earth. Right knee, find that internal rotation. Drop it to the ground as best as you can, as close as you can. If it's sitting up here a little bit, that's fine. Just make sure that your toes are flexed towards your knees. It's going to be pretty anatomy heavy, because we're heading towards that functional movement. It's super important for your body. So just play with where you're at. We're going to take a breath in to lift up through the chest. For those of you who have got your knees on the ground, you can start to fold towards that left leg. Now if your knee is lifted, just energetically draw the chest towards the toes. And as best as you can, just modify and adjust your body with the cues and the different variations that I'm giving you. This first one's going to feel a little clunky as always. We'll take one more breath out, just offer the chest down a little more if you can. And then as you breathe in, lift back up. Now here comes the interesting part. We're going to move this from internal rotation, this right knee, to external rotation. So trying not to use your hands, or if you need to use them, place your left hand behind you, lift this leg up and come into external rotation. So the outer right leg is on the ground. Now that's going to be an interesting movement, but what we're trying to aim for is doing this without your hands. Once you've got that leg set up, amazing. Plant your right hand behind your right sitting bone. As you breathe in, come into flash dance. Send your hip points forward, your left hand back in space. This is going to open up through the hips, and after all of this flexion we're creating, it's going to offer us a little bit of an extension, just so we can stay nice and even. So we'll take one more big breath in, keep reaching back. And then as you exhale, drop the hips down to the ground. Breathe in, lift up through the chest. See if we can move back into that internal rotation with the leg. If you need to use your hands, you're welcome. Good, we're going to move back into our Skandasana. Peel that right knee up, push your right foot into the ground and land. Now again, guys, this is going to be challenging. Functional movement is, but it's so important for our body. Clear the thoughts, clear the mind. Let's exhale. As you breathe in, push your right foot into the earth, come back into that wide-legged stance. And then as you exhale, chest offers to the ground. Now, I'm sure you're starting to see why the theme is no expectations, no judgments. Really keep that. If that's where your challenge lies, just allow it to lie there. Notice your reaction. We'll take one last exhale. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in. Peel the left heel in, left toes out, Skandasana over the left leg. Nice and tall through the crown of your head. Make sure knees and toes are in line on both sides. This is a familiar shape to you guys. You do our classes a lot. Just see if you can find this opening and get ready to explore now the left side for our last breath out. Drop sitting bones to the earth. Internal rotation through the left knee first. Drop that knee as close to the earth as you can get it. If it's sitting up quite high, that's fine. Just as long as we're aiming in that direction. Chest will grow up, grow tall and proud. And then as you exhale, start to fold towards the right leg. Now the reason we're aiming to do a lot of this without our hands is because typically as we get older, we become more and more afraid of the floor. We don't want to sit down on the floor because we can't get back up. And after working now in aged care facilities, I realized how important this functional movement is, hence offering it to you. So let's take our last breath out. Breathe in, lift back up. We go from internal rotation to external rotation through that left leg now as best as you can. See if you can create that shape. If you need to use your hands, use your hands. We'll get ready for that flash dance. Plant, left hand behind left sitting bone, hips forward, right arm back. This opening through the anterior side, resetting the hips. Just one more big breath in. Slow and steady, hips drop down to the ground as you breathe out. From external rotation to internal rotation. Good. Then find neutral, plant that left foot, lift up into your Skandasana. On your next breath in, ground down so much so through that left foot that you rise. Oh, and then fold over as you exhale. And just land here. And guys, we like to keep it real with you. Sometimes we stumble, sometimes we fall, and we keep all of that in and don't edit it out. And just so you know, we have these little hiccups too. We are all human. And take that last breath out. Remember that. Treat your body with care. And take a halfway lift as you breathe in. Skandasana over the right leg as you breathe out. Right knee, internal rotation, grow tall through the crown of your head. Breathe in. Fold, hinging at the hips, empty the belly. Slowly, steady, rise back up as you inhale. Really slowly, internal to external rotation, land. Right hand behind you. Hips forward, left arm back. Inhale, reset the hips. Exhale, hips back down to the earth. As you inhale, from external rotation to internal rotation, maybe you're finding a little bit more ease there. And then we set up for Skandasana as we breathe out. Activity through the right foot, ground it to lift up, breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Skandasana, left foot, exhale. Drop the sitting bones, internal rotation, breathe in, proud chest. Fold into that breath out, no expectations as you rise up. Feeling gratitude for the body. Land in external rotation, slow and steady. Ground the left hand, hips up and forward. Breathe in, open up, right hand reaching back. Slow and steady, plant those sitting bones down. We really want to start working now into this internal rotation. See how your hips are feeling. Reset up, Skandasana, over that left leg. Rise up, guys, breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. You know we're going again. Take that halfway lift, crown of head forward. Right leg Skandasana. See if you can make all of these movements flow into one now. Sitting bones down, right knee, internal rotation, drop it to the ground. And then as best as you can, offer your chest towards the left knee. Rise back up, take a breath in. Swap, internal rotation to external rotation. Adjust if you need. Right hand grounds behind you, hips forward, left hand back. Inhale as you expand. Drop the hips. As you exhale, we're going for that internal rotation now. Try not to use the hands. I know it's a bit of a struggle. And then re-ground that right foot, Skandasana. Ground it down so much that you rise, breathe in. And as you exhale, get rid of all of those judgments and fold. Halfway lift. Take a big buoyant breath in. Left side, Skandasana as you breathe out. Drop the sitting bones in the inner left knee. Inhale. Empty the belly and fold. Rise back up. From internal to external. Plant the left hand. Hips forward. Right arm back. Open up. Slow and steady. Drop back down. Internal rotation, guys, notice how this is feeling in the hip girdle. And then from there, we want to move back into our Skandasana, trying not to use the hands. Rise back up as you breathe in. Fold nice and heavy as you breathe out. One more time, either side, guys. As best as you can, do not give up. Just allow the body to do what it can do. Start from where you are. Let's exhale together. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Strong spine. Right Skandasana as you breathe out. Sitting bones drop. Right knee falls in, chest up. Fill up the belly and the ribs. Exhale, push the belly button to the spine. Find the space. Rise back up as you breathe in. Change from internal to external as you breathe out. Plant right hand, hips forward, left reaches back. Whole breath into a right. Slowly, hips ground. Exhale. Internal rotation now. Guys, treat your body with care. Stay tall through the spine. Skandasana set up. Last time on this side. You've got it. Ground down to lift up. Breathe in. Fold into that space, breathe out. Keep that movement going. Halfway lift, take a big breath in. Left Skandasana as you breathe out. Drop the hips, try not to slam to the floor. Left knee, internal. Offer the chest, breathe out. Rise back up. Here we go, move from internal to external. Ground the left hand. Hips forward, feel the difference as the hips open in comparison to flex. Drop the sitting bones down. Back to this internal rotation. You guys are nearly there. Set up, Skandasana, last one. Rise up, yogis, breathe in. And fold nice and heavy as you breathe out. And just take a moment here. Allow the hips to land in this stillness. Breathe really deep in and out of the belly. We'll take just one more big breath in. And sigh it all out. Rise up as you breathe in. We're going to land in our Malasana, our yogi squat, as you breathe out. Guys, come as low into this squat as you can. We've really worked hard on opening up through the whole hip girdle in this class. We want to notice the differences. Now that we're warm in this particular area of the body, can you find a depth that you haven't found before while maintaining a safe structure throughout the body, knees and toes in line, straight spine. We're going to hang out here just for one more breath, just one more. Okay, you can definitely use your hands this time. And take a seat on your mat. Guys, well done. That's really tough work. We're going to bring our body now into Sukhasana, so your left shin. Bring that parallel to the front edge of your mat. And once you've brought that parallel to the front edge of your mat, start to bring your knee a little closer to in line with your hip. We want a nice space between the calf and the belly. Your right ankle, place that in front of your left knee, so we have a box or a triangle-like shape in front of us. We don't want to sit in a cross-legged position. Again, there should be a really generous space from belly to shins, to calves. From here, we're simply going to fold forward and just entering through the outer hips. Now, for those of you who are quite open in this area, which is relatively common, you can stack the right ankle on top of the left knee. But please don't push yourself. When we start to come into a little bit more of a passive posture, we want to treat the body with care. As much as we have worked really hard to find this length, it's not something we force. We want the body to trust us, to trust our decision making. And functional movement, yoga, these things have such a huge playoff on our mind, the way that we treat our body, the way we think about our body. So take just 3 more rounds of breath, allowing the space again that's worked hard to open. Gently rise up. Feel the sensation change. And we'll swap over sides. Personally, my left outer hip is a lot happier than my right outer hip. You should notice a difference in yours, maybe too. You can fold if you'd like to fold. You can stay seated with a straight spine if that's better for you. But in this moment, I ask that you treat the body with so much compassion. And typically, functional movement can be a pretty big trigger for some. It's really normal. But that in itself is the challenge, is to move through these classes with grace, and remembering that the practice itself, that's the innocent part. It's our attitude towards it that creates this practice, and that makes it what it is. Just really check in with where the mind is, our emotional state. And we'll stay for just 1 more round of breath. Begin to rise up, slow and steady. Bring the feet out wide, place the weight in your hands, windscreen wiper the knees from side to side. We wash away the movement, we wash away the sensation. We do our best here to notice the difference from this now in comparison to the beginning of our journey together. And just 1 more time from side to side. And then really slowly, guys, lay down on your mat. And land in Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of your feet together, your knees out wide. And we now focus on the inner hips. We allow this area of the body to open, but in a more of a passive manner. Offer the outer knees to gravity's pull. And continue to observe the rise and fall of your belly. Whatever is happening next is yet to come, and whatever has happened, it's done and cannot be changed. It's in moments like these we begin to remember our reality, and that is here and now, laying on your mat in the comfort of your own space or wherever you've chosen to do this class. But together we lay here, feeling the heaviness of our body. Observing that sensation of belonging that gravity offers us. Just 1 more round of breath. Gently draw the knees together. Step the feet to mat width distance with a bend in the knees, and allow the knees to knock in against one another, creating like a little TP-like shape with the legs. And after all of this opening we've done through the hips, we now offer them this moment to become closed. To record the movements, the new range, the heat, the length. Throughout our classes, there's so much that happens within our body. And so much we tend to take for granted. So lay in this stillness, really commit to it. If your body feels comfortable here, know you are more than welcome to stay. But if you would prefer to lay the body long in Shavasana, lay those legs out. Bring your palms down by your side, or maybe your hands fall softly to your belly. Eyes closed. Follow the rise and fall of your breath, the only movement that now is left. Every time you're tempted by a thought, allow that to be your reminder. That's your challenge. But can you stay here in the now? As always, yogis, if you'd like to stay longer, stay. Allow my voice to play in the background, having no effect on you whatsoever. But if you are ready to move, breathe deeper in and out of the belly. Begin the journey towards rolling to one side, and then find a comfortable seat. Hands then land in Anjali Mudra. Bow your head to your hands. We acknowledge this practice. We acknowledge each other and we acknowledge ourselves. Namaste. Yogis, thank you so much for joining me. I know today was challenging and it was different, but it's so important that we begin to integrate these movements into our everyday life and work on the things that challenge us in comparison to steer away from them. So if you got to this point, thank you. I'd love to hear how you went with this class, and we will chat to you very soon.